You're listening to The Raw Reaction on the Angry Marks Podcast Network.
In what was one of the greatest segues I've ever seen, we went from calling Big Dick cell phone to Kev saying, F it, we're doing it live. You have myself, Angry Tensai, with the legendary Killer Kev. Welcome to Raw Reaction.
Welcome!
I'm pumped to be on. I think I just saw Vic Roth's name pop up, but that must be the residue of his cell phone. Glad to have you on tonight, Killer Kev.
It is good to be on. I mean, I don't know what has happened to Big Vic. I think he may have gotten caught in the remnants of the hurricane that went through. I don't know. Maybe he's caught in the remnants of a hurricane that he had after Oktoberfest. I don't know.
Well, maybe that, or he just couldn't find interest in what I thought was an incredible Raw tonight. Maybe not by your means incredible. We talked a little bit before we went on the air, but I thought it was a really good show. How'd you feel about the show and all?
Overall, I felt the show was okay.
Yeah? Why would you say it was just okay? What was it lacking?
Well, I mean, they were at Chicago, so the Chicago crowd kind of played a little bit into it. And, in some parts they kind of hyped it up, and some parts they kind of really shat on the show, and I thought that brought down. And then there were some segments that, were justifiably booable. But, overall it was a mixed bag, though. I mean, not too horrible.
This was like a dream card for me tonight. I'm not making a joke. It was all matches I've wanted to see or always wanted to have seen actually play out tonight. I love tonight's show outside of the Divas matches because, I've been into the Divas matches lately and I just didn't like the matches they did tonight. But, one match that I thought was a really cool match that was unadvertised, that came on to the TV screen with no fanfare and had a clean finish, was Ryback versus Rusev. I really liked the match, and I like that we got a decisive outcome from two of the big superstars of today, kind of the Big Show and Kane of our new era. I thought this was a big time match that got no press. I couldn't believe they just kind of threw it on the show. Neither guy really got an intro. What did you feel about that match?
Well, really, the whole point of this match was just to kind of push through and just get the bigger story of WWE over the weekend right and out of the way. And that bigger story is that TMZ broke news that Rusev and Lana were engaged officially, because in real life, they're boyfriend and girlfriend. And now their engagement in real life is official. And this just kind of completely blows apart what was left of a really shitty storyline in WWE to begin with anyway. We've had this story between Rusev and Dolph Ziggler going on 4 months, maybe 5 months now. I've completely lost track of time on it, but, most people have completely lost interest in this feud by now, with the whole thing of Lana walking out on Rusev and going to Ziggler, and then Lana getting legitimately hurt and off screen, and, the whole blow up that happened just right before she got hurt. This whole storyline just fell apart midway through the summer, and neither man was getting a decisive victory over the other, and we weren't seeing a conclusive end to it. And now here it is. So I really can't figure out what the work is here. Is the work that TMZ legitimately blew up this story, and whatever WWE had planned, they just pretty much decided to scrap at this point? Or was it WWE decided that this story had become such a fucking debacle that they told Rusev and Lana to go ahead and publicly announce their engagement, and we'll use that as the excuse to end this fucking shitty storyline.
Yeah, I guess WWE was looking for an out on the story anyway, and they finally got it. There's no doubt that TMZ wasn't in on the work. TMZ just got a hold of it and printed it. But, one thing about it is, I guess a couple things. Rusev again continues to amaze me. I love him. When they showed the picture of him and Lana up on the screen, if you read his lips, he goes, "Oh, don't." He looks at, because he didn't have the mic. Summer Rae did. He said, "Don't worry about any of that. Don't worry about any of that. That's all garbage." They should have gave him the mic, because I wanted to hear what he had to say at that point.
Yeah. Speaking of wanting to hear what somebody says, guess who joins us for the show now?
Big Dick.
Yep.
Oh, wow. He's so excited to be on.
Yeah. I don't know how I missed the first hour or so of the show. My bad.
I'm not telling you to get back in bed, buddy. Well, what I would say too is, I thought Summer Rae, who really has been a joke on TV, actually had a really good segment here and just destroyed Rusev about how she'll never trust another man, etc. I thought it was cool, and she said he was a whipped little boy, that being Rusev. But, you know what? Dolph Ziggler, I can't help to think Dolph Ziggler looks like a complete idiot, right? Like, he got played.
Oh.
When you think of?
Oh, kind of absolutely. Matter of fact, WWE, published a video, around, 5:30 this afternoon. Here's what Dolph Ziggler had to say on it.
I want to hear it. I'm hanging on the edge of my seat.
Backstage here in Chicago before Monday Night Raw with Dolph Ziggler. Dolph, I just wanted to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah. What TMZ was reporting about Lana getting engaged. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, we had a hell of a run, and as usual, it was great for her. And then it's her time to move on, I guess. But more importantly, Raw in Chicago. Anything good going on tonight? What's the plan? What's going on? Raw tonight. What do you got? I'm good. Later, buddy.
Wow.
Yeah. I love the part where Ziggler says, we had a hell of a run. It was a good summer for her.
There were two other men that weighed in on this as well on the WWE app around 5:45. And here they are.
Ladies and gentlemen, standing there in Red Eagle, mighty nation. We're here for one reason. Take scouts, show no mercy. Tell them, Standing Bear. That's right, IPW. We're here to make a name for ourselves, and this is where we start.
Well said, Mighty Nation chime again.
You know what? At this point, since we no longer have the Rusev and Ziggler feud, I think this is the perfect opportunity for Standing Bear and Red Eagle to make their WWE Raw debut. We need to make this happen.
It's been 30 years in the making. They are the right guys at the right time.
It is the summer of IPW. Now in the fall.
It certainly is. At least for me, it is. I don't want to underscore it though, but I thought the Ryback Rusev match was a cool match, and it was very aggressive, and I couldn't believe. I mean, Rusev won clean, or Ryback won clean, man. I mean, it looked like Rusev was going to win because he slipped out of shell shock and he rocked Rusev with super kick. Ryback was able to rally and hit him with the shell shock and win it. I mean, that's a big win for Ryback, man. Rusev's a top guy. It's a big win.
Yeah, big win. Vic, what'd you think?
I've always wanted to see these guys get it on. They have before, but it wasn't a clean finish, and this was awesome. I was pumped about this, and I guess they want to give Ryback steam going into the Kevin Owens match. Kevin Owens obliterated Kalisto tonight. No surprises there, but I think Ryback versus Kevin Owens is a pretty hot feud. You?
Vic?
Yep.
This guy's unbelievable. You know what Vic's like? The early days of Angry Marks Ring the Bell, in which you'd have the 3-man booth, and then Ciara would ask a question. Extreme Tony, what do you think of the Ryback-Rusev feud? I think it's really exciting. What do you think? It's good. Oh, okay. Those are the best, man.
You wanted more input from me? Interesting. No, I think that, I don't know. I think that they need to, I don't know. I mean, I feel like we're sort of struggling to move the feuds along in WWE. I mean, there's some feuds that have been similar for a couple months here, and then there's some that are relatively new. I'm just waiting for Braun Strowman to suffer a debilitating injury, so we don't have to watch him anymore.
Braun Strowman lost tonight. Do you know that?
I did not see that match. That's sort of shocking.
Well, he didn't get pinned, but he got beat. And I was actually very excited when I saw this match on the bill. It was Roman Reigns versus Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman definitely controlled the majority of the match. But Reigns finally was able to knock him down. He hit him with a Superman punch outside the ring and got back in the ring to beat a 9 count or a 10 count and won the match. I was pretty surprised by it. So although it was kind of a different way to lose, he definitely lost his first match and Roman Reigns got the better of him. I was surprised by that. Were you, Kev?
Nah, I wasn't too surprised about it. Really though, I just was not impressed with this match at all. Didn't care for it. Really did not care for Roman Reigns' promo. It was really pitiful. I don't use this phrase often out of reverence for the fairer sex, but Roman Reigns completely came off like a pussy in his promo. And the Wyatts didn't help make that promo any better. At the end of this promo, the crowd was they were very politely booing this whole thing. And then we get into this match, and the end of the match, the crowd is chanting bullshit finish. Even though Roman Reigns won. And he won in a smart fashion. And I felt it was kind of strong. He ended up finishing off.
Me too.
He finished off, Harper with a Superman punch. Then finished off Broman with a Superman punch that sent him flying over an announcer's table and then made it back into the ring. I mean, it was powerful, it was smart, and nobody fucking cared. Nobody cared at all. This whole fucking match sucks. This whole fucking feud sucks. The crowd completely shitted on this, and they had absolutely every right to.
I know why. 2 things. Number 1, there is one person who cared. Myself, Angry Tensai. And I know, and I will disagree with you. I don't think it's bad at all. I thought Reigns' promo was good. He basically laid out that Bray Wyatt is obsessed with him, and at all odds, Bray Wyatt is going to cost him WWE titles or any part in the marquee because Bray Wyatt, in a way, hates everything Roman Reigns represents.
Yeah, but he didn't go out there and express that strongly in a very manly,
but that's on
way.
Roman Reigns, though. That's his fault.
He came out and he cried about it. This guy's a Samoan. This guy is a cousin of The Rock. Fucking bullshit. I am not going to believe that shit for a second. That this man comes from a proud heritage of Samoan wrestlers coming out there whining and crying about how it's not fair that this guy fucked this shit up. Bullshit. Pull that crap. The Rock would tell you, do something with your Rudy Poo candy ass and, stick it up your ass and I've got a boot up your ass and I've got boots for asses and Fruity Pebbles and all this shit, and he would go out and kind of kick-ass promo that would get this crowd fired up for this feud, and this crowd just doesn't give a shit. And you're right, that is all Roman Reigns' fault. And it's dragged down this whole fucking feud.
It's not in a way, though. It's how it was booked. You could easily put Randy Orton in this match and let him go on the mic and he'd be fine, and then Roman Reigns could have took the spot in the tag team match. But here's the thing. Roman Reigns should never have been on the mic. Roman Reigns is there to excite the crowd and wrestle. So that shouldn't have happened. But look who they pair him up with. Braun Strowman, I told you this. He's terrible. If this didn't prove to you tonight that guy is horrible, then I don't know what will. He's the worst worker in WWE. No one's even close.
And I'll agree with you right there. This match completely exposed Broman several times.
Thank you.
Several times I just watched what was happening. I'm like, Jesus Christ, go back to IPW and learn how to chain wrestle.
Dude, I have to tell you, in my life, there has not been many times I've very much needed or appreciated validation, but you finally coming around on Braun Strowman makes me feel much better. You know, think of all the legends and icons who have jobbed for this guy in the last 8-12 weeks. That's all I have to say. He's the worst worker potentially in WWE history.
You know who they need to team him up with next?
Who?
Sting. And then, and then it's time to book him in like a 3-month feud with Nick Foley. Not even Mick Foley, Nick Foley.
Do you want to see?
And then we need to finish it off with Flair, not Ric Flair, David Flair.
Would you want to see a Braun Strowman Sting Iron Man match?
There we go.
Would it be interesting? You think Sting could do it?
First man to make it 15 minutes without a lung collapsing is the winner.
I love it. Let's see. We have Divas tonight.
We did.
We had.
Speaking of more whining, we had Paige.
Yeah, what did you think of her tonight?
Oh, that whole match, that whole segment just fucking stunk.
So, did you watch the NXT show, you or Vic?
Vic, did you see it?
The NXT?
No, the IPW show.
The IPW, Standing Bear, Red Eagle, Mighty Nation, future tag team champions of the world.
Mighty Nation versus Nation of Domination.
So I watched the, I don't know if this was a work or a shoot, but I watched the Sasha Banks versus Bayley Iron Woman match. I have to say, it was very entertaining.
Great match.
Very, very great. I mean, it was as good as it's gonna get. And, they showed like kind of a little montage before the Nikki Bella Naomi match. And you could tell like Sasha Banks got out of character for a second when the crowd started cheering after the montage.
Yeah.
And she kind of like smiled. The look Nikki gave back to Sasha Banks was one of professional jealousy. I saw it.
She should be jealous.
Dude, time's up on the meter for the Bellas. I'm serious.
Yeah, they need to go take a vacation. You know, John Cena's about to check out for a while. You know, Nikki Bella needs to go check out for a while. Brie Bella needs to go check out for a while. You know, go on vacation, get laid, you know, do some twin magic with the boys there. I don't know.
But I think they know that like their time's up. I think they're realizing it. But
I don't know, Vic. Do you think that the Bella Twins pull twin magic with Cena and Daniel Bryan?
Oh, man.
Wow. If Daniel Bryan's lucky, I think so.
Yeah, he would be happy. Hey, you know, one thing I read on the
it's a lottery if they switch twin magic. John Cena's thoroughly disappointed.
I read a Forbes article, of all things, on the Bayley Sasha Banks match.
Yeah, how about that? They're in a financial magazine.
Yeah, but I loved what it said, and I agree. They were very critical of, not of the match. They said the match was like incredible, but they were very critical of this match and the previous Bayley Sasha Banks match about how if they want people to take them seriously, they need to stop crying and creating a spectacle after the matches, because would Rock and John Cena have a 5-star match and then at the end everybody start crying and give out flowers? It's a kind of an interesting statement.
You know
Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, that's the one part about the whole show about this match that really pissed me off. Two things really. And I espoused on this last week, but I'll be happy to espouse on it again. First of all, who the hell has a 30-minute Iron Man match? These two women are top notch. Give them 60 fucking minutes. You're on the WWE network. It's not like you gotta buy time on cable and satellite systems anymore. Make it 60 fucking minutes.
Yeah, they could have easily won an hour. Absolutely.
You very easily could have won an hour on that. Then the second thing is at the end of the match, Triple H and Stephanie coming out and giving flowers to both of the girls. I made this argument last week. There's a tradition of this in Japan, and that's great, but in Japan, they do that in like every fucking match. Every competitor gets some flowers served to them, even the guys. I mean, that's just part of the Japanese tradition, but this isn't a tradition in American wrestling. And, now maybe they're trying to make this a new tradition for NXT to make it seem classier. I'd be okay with it. But to start out with this, doing it just for this main event for these girls, it just looked weak. I mean, because if you're trying to start a tradition where, on big things even, like title matches or whatever, we're going to give the flowers. How come Samoa Joe and Finn Balor didn't get flowers at the end of their match for winning this big tag team tournament? Huh? Why didn't that happen?
We only got flowers before the Kevin Owens match.
Huh?
At Beast of the East, they got flowers.
Right, but they were in Japan. Japanese tradition.
Oh, I'm okay with it. It wasn't even that. It's just like the crying and breaking character. Like, I was okay with it last pay-per-view with Bayley and Sasha Banks. But to do it again, it makes it look like you don't belong there and you shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah, I mean, it especially when, at the start of the match, you got Sasha Banks all back in bitch mode again. And, it looks like she's trying to use the friendship thing, good sportive competitive thing, and instead kicks Bayley right in the gut when she wasn't expecting it and got a pinfall.
Is the ring bigger in WWE than NXT? Because one thing that I've noticed, even when the NXT girls are facing each other in a WWE ring, they just don't look as crisp at all.
I think the NXT ring is like a couple feet smaller.
Then why wouldn't the WWE make the ring smaller then?
I think my guess would, if anything, would be to help indie wrestlers transition from rings in the independents to a WWE ring. Because what they're doing in NXT is first teaching them the WWE style and doing it in that smaller ring, and then transitioning that style into the bigger ring. Because WWE is the only company that runs a ring at the size they do. All the other independent promotions run a smaller ring.
But the action isn't as good in the WWE than it is in the NXT. And the athletes are better in the WWE. So it's just, I think they would actually benefit from making a smaller ring. I really do. I think that little bit of difference would speed up the matches. My opinion. But I guess the thought would be there'd be more contact and more risk of injury. But I don't know. I think you watch NXT, that pay-per-view, versus even a really strong Raw tonight. I thought the NXT blows it away.
Well, I mean, if you think about it though, NXT only goes for an hour every week and Raw goes for 3 hours. They can't speed up those matches. They have to slow them down to fill in that 3 hours.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's even tonight, New Day versus Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton. That match got 30 minutes. That match was a throwaway, man. All it did is point out the fact Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton are on the same page. You know, and their promo tonight was similar. Dean Ambrose and Randy Orton were fighting over who was going to lead. And one said to follow me and the other one said to follow me, and they both don't trust each other, but they respect each other's insanity. And then they miscommunicated and cost each other the match. You could have done that in a lot shorter than a 10-minute interview and a 30-minute match.
Yeah, you could have, but I tell you what, New Day fucking made this. And it's great.
I agree. And tell me if I'm wrong. And I've been saying this every week on Raw. And I don't know if it's I want to hear it. But doesn't it sound like everybody in the crowd is saying New Day rocks and they're not saying sucks anymore?
Well, I think this week I did hear New Day sucks. But it kind of does vary from week to week. There are some crowds that are legitimately chanting New Day rocks. And I tell you what, New Day ad-libbed the fuck out of this promo tonight, and they couldn't keep the camera on Ambrose and Orton because they were too busy cracking up. They could not suppress the smiles on their face. The lines that New Day was just peeling off. It was incredible.
So how Kofi was always okay on the mic, and Biggie was not good. Xavier Woods has always been awesome on the mic, even when he was doing ringside commentary. But I mean, they're incredible together. I mean, they really, really are.
They really are. And you know what? I think you've got Biggie Langston in an element where he doesn't have to stick to a specific script. He doesn't have to memorize lines. This group is all about ad-libbing and just fucking goofing off, and Biggie Langston can go out there and whoop and holler and do all these gyrating moves, and just be a big screw off. And
that's what he is, and that's why it's working.
Yeah, and it is working so good for him, so he can peel off whatever lines he needs to just so naturally.
Yeah, it goes to show you, although he's a big badass, he doesn't have to play that role because it's really not who he is in real life. And, he's a character of himself, and it's working so well, and good for them, man. I really want to see them lose the titles to the Dudleys, by some bullshit finish, and then win back the titles right away. Because I want them to have, multiple title reigns, because I think they'll have a lot of credibility holding the belt a couple times. So I ultimately want to see them win the war against the Dudleys, but I want to see them get, more title reigns, you know what I mean?
Yeah. You know what? Go ahead and give the Dudleys a title reign just to put them on top, and then hot shot it right back. I have no problem with that.
Well, I don't even want the Dudleys to get it back. I just want New Day to get more title reigns so that, it builds their legacy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I understand.
I think they're going to be huge. I think this is just the beginning. One thing I noticed tonight, we'll talk about it in a second, about the Lumberjack match. Seth Rollins is, creeped out by New Day. So Seth Rollins was looking for friends in the back to get his back, and the New Day was, cheering him on and going whooping and hollering for him. He didn't seem to like that. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I noticed that.
That was kind of cool. I like where they're going with that.
Did you notice that, Vic?
This guy, what a liability Big Dick is tonight. Oh my god.
Vic, are you still there?
New Day was
Yeah.
Did we lose his connection?
You want to add anything about New Day and the or
I don't know. I think that Mighty Nation is coming back, and they are going to dominate New Day and make it a very New Day.
There is another IPW video of the Doctor wrestler. There's a wrestler that imitates Doctor, and he does a 3-minute promo on the Mighty Nation. All you got to do is put in IPW Mighty Nation, and then you'll see the Doc talking about Mighty Nation. The things that he says, literally, WWE would get taken off TV if they aired that promo in today's PC America. It is so offensive. I've never heard anything like it. That I wouldn't even play on our airwaves. That's how offensive it is.
I was hoping that the New Day would run a promo, possibly with the Mighty Nation, where they celebrate Thanksgiving by going to the Indian Casino at Mighty Nation's reservation and unknowingly to Mighty Nation giving the entire tribe disease blankets.
Oh, God, dude. Do you know who Mighty Nation's son is? Tatanka.
They had a child?
Well, Tatanka came around 10 years after them. The odds are of Mighty Nation being alive aren't likely. I hate to say that. Anyway. You know what match I thought was going to be good, but it was terrible? The Dudleys versus the Ascension. They just killed the Ascension. It was just a complete squash. The Ascension, even with Cody Rhodes, they're done. How many weeks you guys giving them? I think they'll be released within the next 8 weeks.
I don't know. I don't know if they'll even release them anymore. I mean, so many guys don't get released anymore. I mean, it's pretty rare that they did it. I mean, who's the last person that they actually released? Alberto Del Rio and Justin Gabriel, right?
No, Alberto Del Rio was terminated with cause.
Right, but still released.
Gabriel wasn't released. He asked for his release. Right,
but he was released. I mean, you know, and here you got two circumstances. It's not even WWE going to guys saying, we ain't got nothing for you. It's one guy, doing something to get himself permanently suspended, and the other guy saying, I'm bored. Let me go do something else.
They should just have Ascension be like a permanent house tag team in NXT. Like, just keep them down there. Like, don't even ever bring them back up. You know what I mean?
You know what? Do that and have them work house shows. Just exclusively work house shows.
It's a shame, man. I mean, they're beyond repair. I hate to say it. I feel like Lucha Dragons are going to the same place. They're not too far behind.
Yeah, you're right there.
I mean, these matches with Kevin Owens, I thought the one with Sin Cara was very good, but I thought Kalisto looked extremely weak tonight.
Yeah, kind of did.
Yeah. What else did we have tonight? We had, before we get to the main segment, we had another Divas match, which was Charlotte and Becky Lynch versus Brie and Alicia. Brie, thanks to Paige mouthing off and getting into a shoving match with, you know what? I think I'm screwing these up.
No, we started to cover it and then we kind of transitioned away from it.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. What happened was, Natalya came around to try to push back on Brie Bella. Paige got into a shoving match with her she got in the match with Nikki. And then Paige came, shoved Natalya. Brie kicked her in the back of the head from the ring. And Charlotte tried to take advantage of it, but then there was more distractions outside, and it was Brie Bella that gets the win.
And I don't like champions getting pinned.
No.
I think it made Charlotte look bad.
It did.
And it was fairly not a lot of interference. Like, Charlotte really didn't get affected by that interference. It just caused a little cluster at ringside. So Charlotte clearly jobs to
Brie.
I was surprised by that. So, interesting stuff. The main segment tonight was, you know what? I don't want to forget this match. Oh my God, how could I forget this match? There's really not much of a build to it, outside of the fact they've been doing it on Total Divas. I thought Cena and Ziggler in the US Open Challenge tore down the house, man. That was a good match.
It was a good match, but, I mean, once again, Ziggler loses. And,
I'm okay with it here, though.
It's par for the course for Ziggler. I mean, how many more shots is he going to get at the U.S. title and not cash in?
Well, Cena's the champion. He never challenged John, but I mean, I don't know. John Cena had a bad match in the last 2 years now. I mean,
no, not really.
Can I say this? I don't recall since the U.S. Open, the first one. I don't recall John Cena being this good of a worker. What happened?
He's always been this good of a worker.
Not this good.
Yes, this good.
You think?
I know. I've been saying it for years. There's too many people that have been blinded by the gimmick of John Cena that only now recently are really paying attention to just how mechanically sound as a wrestler he really is.
Do you think the U.S. Open Challenge has done that for him?
I think the U.S. Open Challenge has allowed him to highlight the wrestling over the gimmick.
The U.S. Open Challenge is going to be the difference between why John Cena is no longer seen as a Triple H, but he's seen as a Rock, Hogan, etc. And you know what I was thinking tonight? When I saw Ziggler take the match, I was like, oh, this is awesome. So basically, we're going to have the equivalent to if we were watching Saturday Night Main Event and Hulk Hogan took on Mr. Perfect. We got to see that tonight. I mean, they really are Hulk Hogan and Mr. Perfect. I mean, it was that cool of a match. It was great.
Hey, you know what? I want to play something here real quick.
Sure.
Just to kind of show you just how good John Cena really is in his role. A video here from Jimmy Kimmel's show just right before WrestleMania. I don't know how I missed this, but I caught this a month ago. John Cena hyping up his match against Rusev. Listen to this.
Yes, I've heard. Yes.
We got something, man.
WrestleMania.
This one on Sunday. I tell you, it's weird because I'm not just fighting for me. I'm fighting for America.
Yeah, this is your opponent. His name is Rusev.
Yes.
He looks scary, by the way. I would let him in the bar whether he had an ID or not. He was, now what is he? He's Russian? Because he used to be Bulgarian, and now he's Russian? Is that what's going on here?
He's from Bulgaria, representing Russia, and is a current hero of the Russian Federation.
He is?
No problem. I got no problems for that. This is the problem I got.
What is the problem?
He's the United States champion. Every single chance he gets, he runs down the United States of America.
No! We will absolutely, not on my watch.
Not on my watch either. And that's how I feel. Usually I'm just fighting for me. My training regimen's simple. I lift a bunch of heavy stuff, I headbutt a wall, and then I try to sift through my crap for gold.
Right.
Like everybody else. Yeah. This time, my man, this time is different. I have a steady diet of apple pie, barbecue, and waffles.
Is that powering you?
No. Right now, I am drinking full-bodied American beer, Budweiser, Coors Golden, Miller, the champagne of beer, even Pabst Blue Ribbon. I am blaring Grand Funk Railroad. We're an American band on 75% volume to hear the official instrument of the United States of America, the cowbell. Wow. I have watched all the Rocky movies, even 5.
Wow.
Twice. Every day I go into Walmart, I buy a shotgun, a lawnmower, a scented candle, and a 16-pound ham. And on top of all that, I have spent a large sum of money on useless Chinese fireworks that I light off at will while humming the national anthem. Because I fight for America. Wow. Well, I got a message for Rusev right now. There's a train coming. That's right, an American Express. And I'm driving it. And the pain train is going to stop this Sunday at WrestleMania. Because if Rusev wants to run down the red, white, and blue, he's going to find this Sunday that he can red, white, and blow me. A bunch of balloons, which I'm going to need to drop when I take the United States Championship from him and whip his ass this Sunday at WrestleMania for America.
That's how you cut a promo.
That's how you cut a fucking promo.
That was awesome.
Roman Reigns, are you listening to this podcast, Roman Reigns? This is how you cut a promo.
You want to know how you cut a promo? This is how you cut a promo. This is how you build up a grudge match.
Thank you, Buddy Lee. I come to IPW for one reason. Bill Ash, 2 years ago Christmas night, he took something away from me that nothing on God's green earth can replace. You broke my arm and you broke my shoulder. And it's been 2 long years, Bill Ash. But let me tell you something. I'm bigger, I'm faster, and I'm stronger. And with all them wrestling fans out there behind me, we're taking you out, Ash. We're going to take you out.
What happened on Christmas night for him to break his shoulder and his arm?
I don't know. But I think I've got a promo that tops that.
You do?
I think I do.
Hello, welcome again to another segment of International Pro Wrestling's A Visit with the Doc. On this program, we're going to have to address a major problem in international professional wrestling. A problem that has upset me so much, I'm going to have to do something about. Now, when I turn on TV, I like to see that my wife and my children and the people that I know can watch a clean, wholesome family show. Now, I don't mind seeing Indians on TV. They're great in a John Wayne movie falling off the horses like they should be. And that's exactly the kind of setup that you want to see them. But you don't want to see them in the wrestling ring. Let's take a minute, if you will, and think about the Indians' contribution to history. Let's name some of the things they've done. That's enough time. Which leads me to the point of we have probably 2 of the biggest non-athletes in international professional wrestling today. Again, I'm trying to figure out how they got into international professional wrestling. I don't know. Did they buy their way in? They can't be related to anybody, because I looked at all the crew and everybody associated with international professional wrestling, and none of them look stupid, which gives us to the final point. How do these people get in the ring? When you see them, look at their names. Bear and Eagle. Well, first of all, Bear looks like he lives up to his name. He looks like he's been sleeping too much, not spending time in the gym. Eagle, and we loosely call him the brains of the outfit, and we use the term brains very loosely, is the taller one. Again, you see him come in the ring. They come in off the reservation. They get through. They've been making moccasins and things for the tourists, and they get in the ring. It's sad. They have no athletic ability. So it really upsets me when you bring these two losers in the ring. I've offered to wrestle them in a handicap match, which if you think about it, a handicap match is me against both of them, but anytime you put my brain against any Indian's brain, it is a handicap match. So they...
Now that's a promo.
That's so racial. Oh my God. Do you think that's bad?
That's bad.
They showed that on TV. Only in Oklahoma, on public access, could you see that.
There you go.
WWE would be taken off the air for that.
But this will end up in the WWE archives one day.
I hope so. You know, I'm worried that one day our YouTube user Honeydew Wilkins is going to take these videos down. Thank God we have them on all our podcasts, so we still have all the footage to go back. Hey, main event tonight. We got we have Kane booking himself tonight against Seth Rollins, and Triple H and Stephanie were out of town. Kane put in charge, books himself in the main event in a no DQ lumberjack match. Seth Rollins really didn't want to take this match, but Kane books himself, Corporate Kane versus Seth Rollins, and before the match, a phone call comes in from Triple H, and he says, Kane, anyone but you. You do not book yourself in the match. The team does not need this. We don't fight each other. So Kane says, all right, I won't take the match. But he goes and books Demon Kane, who, as we know, is a different person than regular Kane.
Of course.
Angry Sensei, I have to wonder, what are your thoughts on WWE possibly, according to rumors, signing American Pharaoh?
I think it could be good for the Federation. So American Pharaoh is going to have a lot of time on his hands. So I think he would be very helpful to the WWE. He's so well known, and he brings in a different group of fans. But the problem with American Pharaoh is if he bites you, you're probably going to lose a limb.
Yeah, I have a bet feeling to just absolutely bury American Pharaoh.
Well, see, the only problem is I know where this storyline's going to go. American Pharaoh is going to come in, and the Four Horsemen are going to want him to join, and he's going to join, and he's going to be given a number one contenders match, and Ric Flair's going to get upset with that, and then they're going to have to attack him to kick him out of the group for it, but they're going to end up breaking his leg, and you're going to have to euthanize him right there on the air.
Didn't they do it to Sting without the euthanizing?
Hell, they did it to Sting. Didn't they do it to Lex Luger?
Yeah.
Didn't they do it to Paul Roma? I mean, and Mongo, poor Mongo. I mean, they actually shot him on WCW Saturday Night.
Well, you know, I think today's Sting is the top talent in WWE. Sting of today.
Is he the thoroughbred?
He is. I mean, you could do so much with American Pharaoh. You could have him fight Sting. He could take the U.S. Open Challenge. John Cena would be surprised by that. He could take on his natural rival, Rusev. 4 horsemen, 4 horsewomen. There's a lot you can do with American Pharaoh. So I wouldn't.
And if he gets in trouble, you can always bring out the new RoboCop.
Didn't RoboCop wrestle in WCW?
I don't think he actually wrestled. I think he just kind of showed up there. But that's okay. We can have the new RoboCop riding out on American Pharaoh.
Works for me. Works for me. Well, Demon Kane is the next thing to RoboCop, and he did pretty good outside of getting knocked out by Big Show on the outside of the ring very abruptly, which is kind of odd. I guess that's going to play a role in the pay-per-view match between these two for the WWE title. But Corporate Kane had control. He beat the shit out of the Lumberjacks after they jumped him, and he cleanly tombstoned and beat Seth Rollins. I don't know if I like this, but I know what this is. It's the WWE formula for pay-per-view matches. If you pin the champion before the pay-per-view, you're not going to win the title.
Yeah.
I liked the match. I thought it was entertaining. I have no problem with it, but I just don't understand why this was booked with a clean finish if they're going to fight again at the pay-per-view. I don't really understand.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no chance Kane keeps the WWE or wins the WWE title. I mean, between Big Show knocking him out, Triple H telling him not to book himself in the match, there's no way. I mean, I just don't see how he can win it. So, honestly, I liked outside of the Diva stuff, I liked everything tonight. I saw everybody I wanted to see. I saw a lot of cool matches. Ziggler and Cena tore down the house. I mean, that's one to go back and see. I mean, this is a good show. I wouldn't give it an A. I'd give it a B+, a solid B+, maybe even an A-. You know what? I'd say B+, because the promos were really bad. So B+, but it was a great show, I thought.
I'd have to go with a C because, you know, the promos were great and some of the wrestling matches were great, but we had some shitty matches and some shitty promos to go with them. This really didn't do much, in my opinion, to build towards Hell in a Cell. The only thing that really did was running those 5-minute promos of Brock Lesnar and The Undertaker, which is really what the damn pay-per-view's about anyway. So we pretty much had like 2 hours and 50 minutes of Raw not pushing a pay-per-view that's happening in 2 weeks.
Is there any way Undertaker can beat Brock Lesnar based on what you saw?
I don't think so. I mean, they might make it close, but I think Lesnar has to go over.
I think if Lesnar wins, or if Undertaker wins, they should give Kane the title and let them run together. Because the only way it's going to be believable if they can win matches and stay on top. There's really no point. I mean, I can't see any other way outside of Rollins walking out with the belt and Lesnar decisively beating Undertaker. I mean, those guys just, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see it. I mean, you're not going to make Kane the face of WWE at this point. And Undertaker can't wrestle more than one match every 3 or 4 months. You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you may get what you want. You may get your Sting Undertaker WrestleMania match in which it'll be like 10 minutes before they can even lock up. It'll take so long to get to each other.
Yeah.
I never thought the day would come where David Flair's wrestling ability surpassed Sting, but it's finally happened.
It's only taken 15 years.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
what is David Flair doing these days?
He is the IPW Black Scorpion. I actually last night was watching one of the Clash of Champions from like I want to say September of 1990, and Sting fought one of the Black Scorpions and absolutely annihilated him at Clash of Champions. It was very cool.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the Black Scorpion, it was a Black Scorpion. But he killed this one, the one he wrestled, he destroyed him. But we find out after he beat him it wasn't the Black Scorpion. It was a Black Scorpion.
Yeah.
I'll never forget when I was watching Starrcade 90 and all the Black Scorpions came out one by one. And there was like 15 of them surrounding the ring. It was very spooky. That's all I got. Well, I mean, that was Raw tonight. So, I mean, anything else you want to cover?
Hey, I did find out what happened with David Flair.
What?
He stopped wrestling. He married a woman named Susan Haskell, who is the heiress of the Seal Wire Company.
Is she hot?
I don't know. I don't see any pictures. But company that was started in 1956 by her parents, now passed on to her daughter and, I'm sorry, not Susan, Robin. The Haskell family passed it on to her daughter Robin and son-in-law David Flair. So he's now in charge of a wire production factory. Wonder if they make barbed wire.
You know, David Flair is proof that you can go through life with absolutely no talent and make money off other people's hard work.
Yeah, you're right on that. You're absolutely right.
Like, think about it. Like, Reed, his brother, was that accomplished, like, collegiate wrestler. He was a superstar, and he probably could have been a real wrestler, and then he had that tragedy. And then, like, Charlotte is rocking it right now. I mean, she's totally kicking ass in WWE. David Flair's a failure.
Oh, he was a failure in wrestling, but he's a winner in life.
He's one of the worst wrestlers of all time. He's not as bad as Braun Strowman, but he's bad.
But I bet you he's improved with age.
He was dangerous in the ring because he like would hesitate before moves and stuff. I mean, I can't believe they'd send him out there like that, not trained. That wasn't fair to him or to the wrestlers.
Yeah.
So, you know who's starting to annoy me that I used to love?
Who's that?
Lance Storm.
What? Why? What'd Lance Storm do?
He's so like degrading to the internet wrestling fans and to, you know, anyone who questions his opinion. I think he's creating a little revisionist history on how great his career was because it really wasn't that great.
You think so?
Yeah, he's still one of my favorites. I loved him, but I'm very disappointed with how bitter he is and some of the stuff he puts on the internet. He's very opinionated in a bad way. I think he's very negative.
Do you still feel that way even with his feud with our friend Ed in San Antonio?
They have a real feud now, right?
Yeah, they're feuding right now.
He's been on Ed's show plenty of times.
Yeah, but they're feuding right now.
For real.
So yeah, some harsh words from the ECW veteran this weekend after Ed and San Antonio attended the Shimmer show in Berwyn, Illinois.
And what did he say about it?
Well, I will get to it in just a second if I can get through all these photos that Ed has posted.
Wait a second. It's got to be a joke because they're cordial. There's no way.
No. Here it is. Ed went to the Shimmer show at Berwyn, Illinois this weekend. Posted a bunch of photos on Facebook and Twitter, and Lance Storm lashes out at him. And he says, Ed in San Antonio's support of women's wrestling seems less noble when you see all of the ass pics he takes at shows.
Why is he discrediting him like that? He's a journalist.
Well, because legitimately Ed in San Antonio posts a lot of pictures where you see the backsides of women.
Because he's outside the ring taking the pictures. I mean, he's not going to have them from the front.
Of course, Ed tried to defend himself. While yes, there are asses in the pics, I only posted one today.
Look at Lance Storm going at Ed.
Lance Storm apparently feels it's a little degrading.
I think Lance Storm's degrading, and I'm a huge fan of his.
And the best part is Ed in San Antonio thinks you're degrading. So we've come full circle.
No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. We are, me and Ed in San Antonio, it's water under the bridge, man. Water under the bridge. I'm proud of Ed in San Antonio.
But Ed has been posting a lot of ass pics. But he's been posting a lot of good pics too. If you find him on Facebook at Edward Laredo, you'll see a lot of these pictures. Of course, I'm sure you'll see him on the Figure 4 wrestling board as well. We've got a full statement from Ed today. Okay, he says, I'm very amused at some of the outrage by a few people over my Shimmer pics. There are a few pics of butts, yes, about 5 out of 100, a couple cause they had stuff written on their backsides, and the other 3, I was just having fun. All the other pics are from the front row looking up at moving targets, so yes, there's ass in those pics too. But if that offends you, all you have to do is unfriend me, and you won't ever have to worry about seeing that again. And you can believe what you want, but I went to see great wrestling and not just ass. That I can see that on TV and magazines or anyone's billion websites.
Well, I have a question. That's great and all,
but
that's it.
Okay.
How is the world's greatest wrestling show going?
You mean the Undisputed Wrestling Show?
Yeah, who are they having on?
Oh, well, you're missing it if you've not caught the revamped Undisputed Wrestling shows with our hosts every week, wrestling veterans Q-Ball Carmichael, Drew Skills, the NWA Continental Champion Morning Star Will Huckabee, and the ever-exuberant bearded wonder Zane Paisley. You're missing a great show. Coming up tomorrow night in the first hour, we get to talk to independent superstar Cody Hawk in the first hour. And the second hour, we are going to have one of the legendary wrestling promoters in the business, the great Les Thatcher.
All right.
So we've got that coming up tomorrow night. Also coming up in the next couple of weeks, we're going to have independent stars Remy Wilkins, Officer Rod Steele, Marianne Fontaine, very, very entertaining gentleman with a great throwback gimmick. If you're anywhere in the Midwest, you definitely should catch a show if Marianne Fontaine's on it. This guy is absolutely entertaining. We've got some legends coming. Dan Spivey, Bobby Fulton, Wrath, Rhino, fresh off of his loss in the Dusty Rhodes Memorial Tag Team Tournament. We've got him booked for November 10th. We're going to see the return of ECW star Jason Knight, and independent star JC Ice.
JC Ice, wasn't he, I could be confusing the names. Wasn't he part of the NC-17?
Yes, he was. You are correct, sir.
Really? He was awesome. They did the Nation theme song.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. I thought their version was way better than just the generic track. Was it Wolfie D was the other guy?
Yes.
They were awesome. I love them. You can tell, not that he cares what I think, but you could say I'm a big fan. They were awesome. But they were Nation members for sure. They were, right? I mean, they were legitimately Nation members.
I think they were part of the B team, but yeah.
Still, they were part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, never in reality is like the initial group like the weak group. So think about the Nation, right? So you have Savio Vega, Crush, Clarence Mason, Farouk, and NC-17 are the original Nation. They were complete jabronis when you compare them to the second version of the Nation, which was Kama Mustafa, D'Lo, Mark Henry, The Rock, and Farouk. That is a bad 5 guys, man. I mean, that is a badass faction, don't you think?
It is. It really is.
You wouldn't want to be walking down an alleyway and see Kama with a shaved head, Mark Henry at the time who had no fat on him whatsoever. Yeah, Farouk, Rock, and D'Lo coming at you. They were amazing.
Yeah.
I missed that. I missed that period in wrestling, man. They were an awesome team.
Yeah, they were. So.
If you listen closely, you can hear Big Dick sleeping.
No, you can't.
I thought I heard him snoring.
No, he lost his connection, unfortunately.
Anything else you want to cover or you want to plug?
Nope, I think that covers it for tonight.
All right, man. Well, that was a good show. Hey, let me ask you a quick question before we get going. I did watch the NXT special, as you know. And by the way, you mentioned Rhino's fresh off a loss. He did win like 3 or 4 matches in that tournament, so nothing to be ashamed of for Rhino and Baron Corbin, by the way.
No, not at all. They made it all the way through the finals, and they had to go through some tough teams.
Yeah, man, they did a good job, and I mean that match could have went either way for sure.
I mean, I really thought that Grable and Johnson was really going to win that tournament.
Yeah, I did too. I mean, it would have made more sense because they're like a full tag team now. But I was disappointed, I'm not disappointed. I'm glad they didn't like cause a fight at the end of the match with Corbin and Rhino, because I don't think I mind them staying a tag team. I like them together.
Yeah, I do too. I mean, it kind of started off goofy, but they've gelled. They've come together, and they are a good tag team.
Yeah, for sure. But where I was going was, what do you think of Asuka?
Oh, I love her. I love her already.
So she's like been around a long time, right?
Yeah, she's been a mainstay in Japanese wrestling for quite a while. She's now in WWE, and her debut match, she just fucking kicked ass. I
thought she really did a good job, and Dana Brooke is like brand new in wrestling, and she's very limited in what she can do, and she made it look good. I mean, they both look good, so.
Yeah, but look who Asuka's got her eye on.
Emma?
Yes.
That'll be a good match.
I don't think there's gonna be a match. Unless by match you mean like, matched up on Match.com.
Why do you think they're going that route?
I don't know, but I think I like it.
I think it's interesting, but where does she rank in like the women's wrestling in Japan? Like, where does she rank?
That I don't know. Honestly, I have not followed her career that closely.
Right now, at this point in wrestling, how bad do we need Ciara?
We you know what? We should get Ciara on here one night to talk about it for a few minutes.
If she just waited one more year, everything she's ever wanted has come true, has it not? I
mean, we are riding a high time for women's wrestling in WWE right now.
Forget WWE. This is the highest I've ever seen it. Ever.
Yeah.
Like, it's legitimately main eventing shows. Legitimately.
Yeah.
But yeah, I like this Asuka chick. I think she's cool. She's got a huge personality. I think she could be big.
I think so too.
She already is big. I mean, to say she's gonna be. That's the thing, for me. Like, I used to be blind, and I figured if it didn't happen on WWE, it doesn't exist, and I missed out on some great wrestling over the last decade. I'm realizing that now, watching all these guys go, and I'm just like, wow, this is what everybody was talking about, and I see it. It's awesome. So it is what it is. But anyway, we'll see you next week. Good show. Thank you, Kevin, and we'll talk next week, buddy.
All right, we'll talk to you next week. Thanks to everybody listening, and shout out to Seth Draken in the Angry Marks chat room, keeping us up to date with the NFL scores. The Steelers apparently wanted a close game with a last-second touchdown tonight, so yay Steelers.
Yes. Well, Kev, thanks again, and hit the music, brother.